and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick, with the city's Marketing and Communications Department. And today I have with me as my guest, Michael Curry. You may know him as the director of the Hampton Arts Commission, but your job has changed a little bit. So tell us what your new title is and how your role has changed, because it doesn't look much different to me, I'm sorry.
I'm not sure it does to me either. I took early retirement from the city, so now I am artistic director of the foundation, which is our non-profit arm that actually owns the American Theatre and the Charles Taylor Arts Center, which are both under our auspices, if you like, umbrella. Mm-hmm. And so it's a new challenge, it's a new bump up, if you like, but it's working out fine.
Well, it's a little bit, I mean, I think what's happening is you're getting away from as much city support and looking toward the foundation as being the arm that runs it as much as, you know, more than a city employee.
Yes, that's true. I mean, the foundation, it's a very unique partnership between the city and the non-profit organization. The foundation was actually formed or established in 1994 as a way to support what we're doing with the performing and visual arts in the city. And then Vice Mayor Mel Butler was the one who said, we need this long range so that we can apply for grants, we can get corporate support and individual support. We've done two very successful campaigns, as I think most of the community knows. I mean, the last one was a $4 million campaign to expand the theater. We actually bought the American Theatre in 1997 when it was run down, and a lot of people still remember it as a beer and pizza movie house, $1 a night, whatever it was.
Or they remember what it was before that.
Or they remember what it was before that, yes. The Lee Adult.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm old enough, didn't go there, but I covered some of their trials, their porn trials when I was a reporter.
They were always going on, yeah. And we did a pretty extensive renovation on the theatre. As you know, it's a historic building. It was built in 1908, so it's now well over 100 years old. As I say, we bought it in 97, raised $2.9 million to renovate it and refurbish it, and opened in June 2000, and have been going strong ever since.
2000. You know, I would have actually guessed longer than that. There I was telling you, I don't think the Arts Foundation is 25 years old, but I thought the building had been around longer than that. I'm so used to it.
Yes,
you know, I
yes.
can't imagine what Hampton would be without that.
Well, exactly. And as you probably know, it's one of 4 original historic theatres in Hampton. It's the only one left. There were 3 in downtown that were all torn down over the years. Yeah. And so the American is the only one. It was originally the American, then it was the Lee, then it was the Lee Adult, as we said, and the New American.
Yes, I remember those days too.
We reverted it back to the American because that was the original name. Mm-hmm. And then 2 years ago we opened the new wing, which has really been fantastic. It's a whole new lobby space, studio space for classes and lectures and seminars. We now have a really successful gift shop that's open every day, and we put in new dressing rooms, new backstage space, which was really very needed because it was a tiny building actually.
It was a small building,
yeah.
But now I think the public doesn't always see a lot of, you know, your backstage needs.
Right, right. And when we bought the theatre, well, originally the theatre sat 600 because the balcony was mainly all bleachers. So you could squash people in.
Right.
Now it's 400 because we had to redo the sight lines. And in fact, when we renovated, I remember saying to John Lawson, who's the president of WM Jordan, who was our contractor, when do we just stop and say, start from scratch? And he said to me with a big smile on his face, you're saving a historic building. Because we took the roof off, we took the floor out. I mean, it was... But it's wonderful. It's a great space, and people love the intimacy.
I've heard performers say that. I can't tell you how many times. Well, you've probably been there, most of them.
Yeah.
But from the stage, they will talk about they come back because they love the building, they love the staff, they love the audience. It's
absolutely
a lot of people who play in bigger halls.
Oh, yeah.
Actually choose to come to the American Theatre.
Yes, that's very true. I mean, we have regular guests every year. Arlo Guthrie comes almost every year.
Yes.
The Aquila Theatre Company, the Acting Company, and I mean, these are major touring companies that choose to come back to Hampton because they love it here. They love the audiences, as you say. They love the intimacy of the space, and it's. I think that's a testament to our city and what we're doing with the arts here. It's really quite wonderful.
It is. Now, do you feel like a lot of your audience, a lot of your customers come from Hampton, or is it truly a regional draw?
Oh, I think it's a regional draw. And in fact, I know it is. I mean, I think more and more so too. I mean, we get people from Richmond, from the Outer Banks, on a regular basis, Williamsburg, of course, and all of the South Side. I think in the last few years, we've seen a lot more people coming from the Monitor Merrimack side, because there's a lot of people moving to Suffolk
Right.
and Carrollton, those kind of places. And that's just a, 20-minute drive into Phoebus. And there's newer restaurants opening. It's a wonderful little community. And as we were saying earlier, I mean, now that Fort Monroe is opening a new chapter in its history, I think Phoebus will really hopefully explode and take off. And it's got everything it needs. And post office, a cleaner, well, the cleaners is gone, but there's another one around the corner, grocery store, service station, full service station. I mean, it's everything you need in a little community. It
is, and it's so nice. There's also, parking is not a nightmare.
No,
and in so many concert halls, they're in a downtown where it's just not fun or comfortable to where you have to park and walk. And you can park in one place, you can eat dinner, and you can go to the theater. Yeah. It's just such a nice evening.
Yeah, and when we renovated or put the new wing on 2 years ago, we also added parking in the back, which people are still discovering, actually. But that's great because it's our own dedicated lot, and there's a lot of on-street parking. And this week we've got kids going in, magic camp, next week dance camp. There's activities going on all the time, so it's not just nighttime. There's a lot of people, parents coming in with their kids during the day.
And that's what your new space has allowed you to do, is to have a whole lot more opportunities for arts education and involvement and fun.
That's vital because, those kids are the future. That's our audience in 10, 15 years from now.
Right.
And if we can expose them at an early age to the family fun programming we do on a regular basis, usually once a month we have special programs for kids. These summer camps have been really successful. Week-long camps for kids to get involved in any aspect of the performing arts. And the studio is year-round now. I mean, we're teaching dance lessons, yoga, all sorts of stuff.
I hear the yoga is a big draw there.
Yes, it is. It is. It's basically every Wednesday night, but it does very, very well. And people come from all over, Williamsburg, Poquoson, all over.
Well, the other thing I think is that once people get into that building, you can feel the ambiance there. I mean, you want to come back, and maybe you start going to yoga, but you come back for a performance, or you pick up the diversions and you know what's going on, and it draws you back.
Right.
Well, speaking of what's going on, you have a fall season coming up. Tell us some highlights.
It's our 25th anniversary season, so there's a lot of really great stuff. There's a lot of performing artists coming back that have been here over the years, sometimes, once or twice. There's some really wonderful, wonderful stuff. We're doing a production of Pride and Prejudice with LA Theatre Works, which is actually done as a radio play. I mean, the actors actually have their scripts in their hands, but it's all done with sound effects. And it's almost like listening to the radio in the 50s or 60s before television really took off.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful way to really get into a script and to understand what the play is all about. And of course, Pride and Prejudice, it's the 200th anniversary of the publication of that novel, which everybody knows. Aquila Theatre's coming back in Cyrano de Bergerac in the fall, and then Taming of the Shrew in the spring. We've got some wonderful Christmas concerts with Danu from Ireland, A Christmas in Ireland, the Romeros, who are the first family of the guitar, the Spanish family, which is now 4 generations of musicians. They're coming for a special Christmas concert. We have a New Year's Eve concert with Kenny Neal, who's a wonderful Louisiana swamp blues musician, who's really high energy, high octane. That'll be a great way to bring in the new year and really celebrate our 25th. We're also planning in April next year, which will be the real 25th anniversary, a special gala performance and a fundraiser to, get the thing stabilized and raise some more money. And we're always doing that. We always have to.
Well, you have to. It's been so tough. The economy's been tough for everybody, but things that are discretionary, I think have been hit harder.
Yes, I think that's true. But I think also people need the escape. They need the entertainment, if you like, of, you know, going to a live performance, going to classes or whatever it is, just to expand their horizons and learn more, enjoy more. I mean, our tickets are much lower than anyone else in the area, and we're very proud of that. I mean,
well, you also don't have all the extra fees. Like sometimes a ticket might sound like it's not very expensive, but then you add on the fees and it's crazy. And yours, you know, you call somebody at the box office and the ticket's waiting for you when you show up.
And that's the price.
Right.
When we
that's
say it's
price.
25 or 30,
is
that's
the
it.
Price. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no hidden fees, and there's no parking fees, there's no overhead stuff, which I think is you know, a decision we made a long time ago to keep it that way, and I think the public really appreciate that because it's affordable. It's, as you say, I mean, we pride ourselves very much on customer service, as the city does, and I think that's paid off over the long run. I mean, I think that we have a lot of repeat customers coming back year after year, purchasing series tickets. You know, they can save a lot of money. If they buy more than 6 concerts or 6 performances a year, they can save $5 a ticket. That's great, you know. Mm-hmm. So it's building. I mean, we have a very loyal audience, and I think a very knowledgeable audience that want to try. Every year we put in, hopefully, you know, new artists that are not well known yet, but they become well known, and then they go play big arenas in Denver or New York or Los Angeles or whatever. And it's great because people say to me, I first saw them in Hampton, you know?
That's right. You have a mix of some new people and some people, you know, I've seen John McCutcheon and Arlo Guthrie and Marcia Ball. I mean, there are people I've seen there several times, but you also do manage to mix in new artists. How do you figure that balance?
It's a jigsaw puzzle. I mean, it's great fun. It's part of the job I really enjoy. I mean, I work with agents and managers in New York and all the major capitals, obviously, and often I'll get a call like, Michael, you've got to listen to this. Like last year, we had a wonderful young guitarist from Montenegro in Eastern Europe who nobody had heard of in America, but he just wanted to do 2 or 3 concerts. He had one in Washington, which is only 3 hours away, as we all know. So his agent called me and said, hey, could you do this? It would be like a warm-up recital for his Kennedy Center debut. Of course. Oh my gosh. And it was fantastic. And now I get notes from him. His latest album is already #1 on the classical charts. And, you know, he's a superstar in Europe. And he will be in America. And he was right here in Hampton last year, you know. Fantastic musician and wonderful, wonderful person. And so he's another one who absolutely loved the space. He actually told me, I want to record in here. I said, anytime.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, because the acoustics are so wonderful. They're so perfect. Yeah.
That's one of the things, I mean, I know that a lot of that was in your reconstruction, but those old buildings, you know, they did a pretty good job sometimes.
They knew how to do it. They knew how to do it. I mean, the interior of the theater is all brick, and that's the best porous surface for acoustics. And it's like a shoebox, it's oblong, so it's not, you know, wide, and you don't have to have any baffles or anything like that. It's just very simple. When we were renovating, we called it, what did we call it? Broadway Industrial, as a joke, because we kept the bricks, and everyone said, you really want to keep the bricks? You don't want to put sheetrock? No, those bricks are original, you know, and they're wonderful. You can see the old patterns where the windows were and the breezeways, because, of course, there was no air conditioning in the early days.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, and you also have a mix. I mean, you do have a fair amount of classical, you have folk, you have
well, I think we've
bluegrass. I saw a wonderful bluegrass artist there last year.
Yes, in fact, we have the Bill Jenkins and the Virginia Mountain Boys coming back at the end of August, and Robert and Linda Williams, who are country bluegrass but real Virginia musicians, in September. Yeah, we've prided ourselves on being very eclectic and very diverse, and I think that's kept our audience loyal. And there's all sorts of segments, you know, there's the classical audience, there's the people who love dance, and there's the people who love theatre, but they all come together at the American Theatre, which is wonderful.
It is
it's really great.
You've done an amazing job of programming over the years. So I'm glad I mean, congratulations on your retirement from the city, but I'm also really glad that you'll be around to help guide what's going to happen there over the next few years.
Yeah, I think so. I think that'll be great too.
Great. Well, is there anything else you want to mention about who's coming? I think I interrupted you when you were...
No, there's so many. I mean, the best thing people to do is get on the website and check out the schedule for the whole year, because it's now published on the website, which is hamptonarts.net.
Okay.
It's very simple. Or you can just call the box office at 722-2787
and ask to be
put on. Yeah, I hope so. And ask to be put on our mailing list. We publish diversions every 3 months now. And that keeps everyone up to date with what's coming and all the class schedules, both in the theatre and at the Charles Taylor Arts Centre.
Okay.
There's classes going on all the time in both buildings, plus the exhibitions and the performances, of course. So that's the best way. Just give us a call, 722-2787, and get involved.
Okay. I will also note that we put all of your events in the weekly e-news that we send out, and so if anybody isn't subscribed to that, they can go to hampton.gov/e-news.
Yes.
And that's one of those reminder things, like maybe you saw diversions and you didn't plan ahead, but you see the calendar and go, wow, I wonder if there's still tickets available for this.
Yes, exactly. So that's a great service too. You know, it's because people like the reminders. You know, they get involved in their own lives and forget, oh, is that this week?
Right,
you know,
right.
Was that this weekend?
Sometimes it's very hard to plan ahead unless it's, you know,
exactly.
a huge, like, I'm going to start planning New Year's Eve already because that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, people can stay in touch that way, and it's great to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming by, Michael.
My pleasure, thanks.
And thank you for watching Round Robin. I hope I'll see you at the American Theatre or at the Charles Taylor Arts Gallery this fall.